everything in the universe has a pattern. Everything in life has a pattern that can be measured. We have assigned numbers as symbols, as a language to describe universal truths. It's akin to the idea of astrology, where you read someone's time, date they were born, number of letters in their name. There's all different ways to do it, but it's a blueprint for you and how to optimize and understand your life, understand your life's purpose, understand how to process through life in a way that's most productive for you, and why you intuitively, inherently feel specific things. The way that I'm going to break it down today is between your life path number and your year path number. For those who are deep enough to get it,
but profound enough to not care,
you're listening to Consciously Unconscious. You know what I really want to get now that I'm a TikToker?
Oh, now that she's a TikToker.
An octo buddy.
Yeah.
You know, that's all it takes is to make it in this world, is to have one invention that really hits home.
You're not wrong. And you're not wrong in the fact that an Octobuddy actually does take your content to the next level.
Do you want to know an invention that I'm willing to give up for someone else to do?
Because like you will give the idea away?
Yeah, I'll never actually execute it.
Wow, she's so selfless. I do want to hear this.
Okay, imagine all the people.
Do you remember when people were doing that in COVID? All the celebrities were singing that to like give us hope.
No,
and people
but
were like, "This is so
nice
fucking out of touch.
them.
Thank you so much." No one asked.
No, but I do remember Justin Bieber's. Okay, this is correlated. Justin Bieber's Christmas album where he wrote the song "Pray."
Oh,
for Hurricane Katrina.
He did not. Did he really?
Yeah, and he just called on everyone to pray.
He's a gorgeous human.
I know. Anyways, imagine Christmas time rolls around. It's a little snowy outside. The months are changing. Leaves are falling. Hype is building around Santa Claus coming to town. Obviously,
she would know.
My invention has to do with Santa. You go. You're like, oh, we just moved into this beautiful new apartment. Where are we going to put our Christmas tree? This corner, this corner, this corner. But our apartment's a little small, you know, like we have to compromise on the size of the tree we want. Well, good thing someone has invented an artificial Christmas tree with a corner at the back side of it. So instead of being rounded, it's a corner. Front, nice, luscious, full ornaments, lights. The back side, 90-degree angle. Whoosh, fits right into your corner.
This is giving when a man has full hair from the front and a huge ass bald spot in the back.
It's giving toupee.
It's giving toupee.
But it's giving practicality.
For Christmas tree.
It's giving practicality. It's giving maximization of space. It's giving illusion. Illusion. So if anyone wants to patent that, feel free, because it's actually a really good idea. People will buy anything.
That's true. There's a market for anything. I don't know that I'm the target audience for that one, but
Why not?
Because I love a big old Christmas tree.
Me too. I love a
bitch.
real Christmas tree.
Thick, THICC, Christmas tree. Thick. She's got to have some girth to her.
Can you believe that we're basically right across? Well, I just envisioned that circularly. We're like right across from where Christmas is right now. Do you know what I mean?
I envision it the same way. I envision months the same way, like circular and not linear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Circularly.
Yeah. And when you think about November, do you think about it backwards or do you think about it in the future?
November? Backwards.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
Yeah. Just like when people say like, oh, you know, Thursday is a 7.
You lost me there.
No, you don't get that? Or Thursday
is a 7?
Wednesday is orange.
No, Wednesday seems yellow to me.
Okay, I would say a warm color.
Yeah. What's the 7?
That's just like Thursday is equivalent to the number 7 for me.
Really? Well, you know what was interesting?
Or
is
8, I would say.
Being in Vegas, seeing all the numbers. Seeing all the numbers there that I was so delusional that I took every single time that I saw a 7 as a sign, when no, it's just that we are in the city of gambling and numbers.
Yeah, and they're trying to psychologically manipulate you into thinking that you're going to win
100%.
by seeing a bunch of 7s. Did you win? Anything?
Okay. We played roulette. That was the only game that we played because we don't have endless money to blow, obviously, yet. And Lucas also is just like so in his head about the way he wants to gamble. He doesn't know much about gambling, and I don't either, but I'm just there to like look hot and observe, right?
Yeah, play a couple slots.
Yeah, well, we didn't play any slots. I wish we did just because I wanted to see what that was like.
Yeah.
We played roulette, and basically he's like, we either have to put it all on red or all on black. And he's like, we should go downstairs and we should get $100 and we should put it all on red. Kept saying red, 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 red. I'm like, why the fuck do you keep saying red? He's like, well, that's just like what people say is just put it on red. And I was like, that makes me want to put it on black.
Yeah.
So we go downstairs, put it on black, win $50.
Nice.
Do it again, put it on black, win $100.
What a very strange concept gambling is.
Yeah, and it's an addiction.
Of course it's an addiction, Amanda. Because the more you win, the more you think that you're like, the more that you win, you just black out all of your losses.
Yeah, I do see that because we did end up losing all that we won.
Yeah.
And then just cutting it at like zero, breaking even, right?
The key is to know when to pull out.
Yes.
In more ways than one.
I'm sure if Lucas really
you guys
knows
haven't
that.
mastered that one yet. Yeah, when I was like 14, my parents took me to Costa Rica, and
There's gambling there?
yeah, there was a casino, and I went in with them, and I definitely like wasn't supposed to be gambling or drinking, but I'm pretty sure I was doing both. And I won like $400 on a slot machine, and I was like,
How much did he put in? Do you remember?
luck is running through my veins.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I put in, but definitely not a lot.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe it was Puerto Rico. It was Puerto Rico.
They really do have that shit locked in, though. The psychological manipulation.
Have you seen Molly's Game?
Yes, but I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I remember that being a fabulous movie.
Based on a true story. Great movie.
Yes. But did you know that they pump oxygen
Yes.
into the casinos so that you're feeling really good? They never change the lighting.
Yep.
So you never know if it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m.
Vegas is a complete social experiment.
It is a 100% social experiment. And I don't know that I went into it with that intention and that mindset. I wish I kind of did a little bit more. But we were there to see the Eagles at the Sphere.
Yeah. How was the Sphere?
Dude.
Insane.
I wish I took a lot of shroomies.
Yeah.
Because that would have been unreal.
Well, you see all these, I don't know if you were on that side of TikTok, but like the Anima concert or something where it's like this dark house techno at the Sphere, and it's like these big like hands.
That would be sick. It would be sick.
Call 911 on myself and everyone else there. Like I would panic. My psyche's been a little messed up recently because I've been consuming too many
See, here's something that I'm
psychological thrillers.
Here's the thing. Oh, I thought you were gonna say TikTok stuff.
Oh, well, that too, yeah, but
Because I was gonna say, if you're gonna be a creator now, you gotta master the art of not consuming while you're creating.
yeah, I don't want to be a creator really. But anyways, I digress. We'll talk about that at a different time. What was the Sphere like?
Dude, okay, I get really nervous in enclosed spaces. I'm just one of those girlies that have like done a little too much paying attention to like mass shootings, and I do not love to be.
I think that it's something that we can't really not pay attention to. Let me just say that. It's not
Yeah.
like, oops, I paid a little bit too much attention to it. It's just all pervasive in our society.
But I like allow it to give me like short-term agoraphobia sometimes.
Right. Explain to the people what agoraphobia is in case they don't know.
Well, it's basically the fear of leaving your house and being out in those big, bad, scary worlds.
Yeah.
Which is very valid. I really do feel for the agoraphobics out there. That's why we're great. We support the agoraphobic community. We can come straight to your house, our podcast. We deliver it straight to your ears.
Yes,
you don't have to leave your
straight
house
to
to be able to consume this. And because we're thinking about you.
Right. Thank you for being inclusive. Tell us about the Sphere.
So I was really nervous that I was going to like dip because I'm not a concert girl because of that. I will go to an outdoor concert all day. I feel really grateful that we have Red Rocks. We have Fiddler's Green. Like I will go to an outdoor concert all day, every day.
Is it really fucked up for me to say that like if that's how I go out, at least I go out listening to good music?
No, I think that's really profound of you to say.
Because I am a concert girly through and through. And although that thought does come into my mind, I just have this like full acceptance of like, Okay, well, have an exit strategy. But if that doesn't work, then like rock on.
See, my toxic trait though is that I feel that I would be the one survivor.
Oof.
Like I feel like I would survive. Okay, we're not going to manifest this. I'm going to stop talking about this.
Yeah, we need to change the subject about like
The
how
sphere.
was the
Okay,
sphere?
So it was really cool because I thought I would feel claustrophobic because there would be so many people. Because when I was thinking about the sphere, I was like, okay, so maybe it's like a fully around circular stadium where like people are on all sides. It's not. It's just half.
Yeah, but then it goes.
So it's half, and then the sphere, the actual screen goes all the way up. So you feel like you're. Have you ever been to? I think it's at SeaWorld, the
No.
Soarin' ride.
I don't support SeaWorld.
Okay. Or it's at one of the amusement parks in Florida where there's like a huge screen and you're flying through the world. You're flying over orange groves and they like put orange scent in your face. Like,
It's a completely 5D experience.
yes, that's what this was. So there was a graphic when they were playing Hotel California of the entire Hollywood Boulevard.
Hotel California.
The entire Hollywood Boulevard. In the background, we could see the beach and the waves were going.
Did you get a breeze?
No, you didn't get a breeze. It wasn't a scent experience or anything like that.
So
it was
it
just
wasn't 5D.
completely. No, it was like 4D. I don't know, 3D maybe.
It was one of the Ds.
One of the numbers. So that was insane. There was at one point like words falling from the sky.
Cool.
There was trippy clouds.
The people who have the brain capacity to create these graphics, I would like to chat with you because it's amazing.
Yeah, and then I'm just sitting here like a nerd being like, I wonder what kind of SD card they have to put all of this, to be all those files on here.
When I studied abroad in 2018, I lived in Salamanca, Spain, which is like southwest of Madrid. And every year they do this crazy light laser show. Light laser show where they project all of these like laser visuals onto the Plaza Mayor big
Building?
yeah, just like massive building, and it's all like moving and it's super trippy and it's super cool. And that kind of reminded me of like a mini version of what you would feel at the Sphere.
Yeah, it was sick. Get this. So the reason we went to Vegas is because my parents got this trip for Lucas and I for a Christmas gift.
Dude, I would be foaming from the mouth. I'm like,
So here's the thing. We were in the friends and family bar. We like got.
what do you mean friends and family?
So we got like
friends and family of the Eagles
tickets. So
Yeah,
kind
we
of.
know them.
Okay. So the Eagles, obviously, they're like the OG Eagles. Some of them are dead. So some people have to fill in, right? And there's this like really well-known singer-songwriter, Vince Gill. Do you know him?
No.
I don't either. But if you're over the age of 50, you probably know him. He filled
My dad
in.
listening to this episode will know Vince Gill.
He will.
Right, Dad?
Yeah.
Right.
He filled in for somebody, and my dad knows him just through golf. Like they met at a few pro-ams or something. So Lucas and I have these like friends and family wristbands. We're going into this VIP, what was it called? Oh, the Theory Lounge.
Nepotism, baby.
We go into this Theory Lounge and we get like souvenir cups of margaritas. We're chatting up with like the bartender. We go into this lounge and we're like, oh my God, like I wonder who we're going to meet. It's geriatric. It's a retirement community in there.
Valid.
We sit next to this like super cute old woman and her like probably 90-year-old husband, and then her son and his wife.
I love that for them.
And I'm like, oh my God, I love your red jacket. She had like a cute little red jacket on. And she's like, thanks, it's Zara. And, like sits down. What had nothing to do with Lucas and I. But we're in the Eagles Friends and Family Lounge. Like, let's chat it up and see who the fuck is in
network.
this room. Yeah. And so we're sitting there and, you know, the old guy, bless his soul, he really couldn't say much, but he was the only one that was like, oh, what do you guys see? Like trying to actually talk to us. And we ended up like realizing he was a doctor and had his own practice and he lived in California. And the son, who was like 40, is living in California as well. And the dad was like, oh yeah, like this guy lives in California. He's, you know, a high roller or whatever, like just hyping up his son. I'm like, oh, well, what do you do? He's like, I'm in the entertainment industry. And he's like, we're like, I'm like, oh yeah?
Oh, me too, actually.
You're in the entertainment industry? I forgot to tell you this. And, but Lucas obviously like is just gonna tell anyone and everyone that we have a podcast, right?
Love
So
that.
he's like, yeah, so my wife is also in the entertainment industry. She's got a podcast. And he goes, oh, what's your podcast called? I go, Consciously Unconscious. He goes, I think I've heard of that one.
Shut the fuck up. We are making waves in the geriatric community.
This guy was like 40
All
and
right.
like in the entertainment. I think he was like a agent, like manages really, really.
Well, I hope he wasn't
people.
lying. I hope he heard of
He was
it.
totally fucking lying though. But I'm like, that is so funny that he was like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, definitely heard of that. Well, you know what? Someday he will.
Yeah.
But
Facts.
for now, here we are
Facts.
on my couch
Facts.
talking about the sphere.
Yeah, dude.
Well, that's cool. I've never been to Vegas. Can you believe that? And I feel like I've really passed my prime to like go and fully participate in the social experiment. Now I would like to just go study it. Now I
Yeah.
would like to go with a journal and a pen.
Well, you know what we need to do? We need to go with a group, like a group of 6 people, maybe
Do
like
we?
3 different couples. Yes. And we need to go during the summer so that during the day we can go by the pool and
So
lounge.
it's 126 degrees.
Yeah, but the thing is, it was cold where we were, so all you can do in Vegas is eat, drink, and go see a show. It's a very night place, but from 12 to 5 or 4, what are you doing? So there was a few times where we went into the hotel room just to like kind of lounge, but we were like, this is fucking boring. I wish I could go to the pool. So we have to go when it's summertime. We can go to the pool, then we can get a little Aperol Spritz and go gamble.
Yeah, unfortunately, I have so many other places on my list before Vegas. But
Yeah.
if business did bring me there, I would integrate pleasure.
Business should bring us there.
Yeah,
I'd love that for us, to be
we'll,
honest.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, accepting applications for anyone who wants to go on a trip to Vegas. Only 6 of us are allowed, and 4 of the spots are taken.
Yeah, because Jessa has a man. I told Jessa I'm forcing you to talk about Zeus in this episode.
What do you want to know?
How is he? How is
great.
Zeus?
He's great. He's perfect. He's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like I worked so hard in the last 2 years to really cultivate a connection to my intuition. And for a while at the end of my previous relationship, my intuition was telling me like, go that way, go, leave. Like just, you know, close the door, keep it moving, keep your head high. And I wasn't able to do that. And I was really I was really battling with like logic versus emotion versus intuition versus convenience versus comfort versus like this ironic cycle of feeling like I was going to be more comfortable if I stayed. But really, I was just enhancing the discomfort. Anyways, I now feel like I've put so much work into my intuition that I feel so fully connected and aligned and intuitive that like this is the person that I should be with right now. It feels very, very intuitive. And I don't know if there's a better word to describe it because that is so powerful in itself to be acting from a place of like true alignment.
How does that feel though in your body? Because I think intuition speaks to people in different ways.
For me, intuition is a very like, it's calming. It's calming to my nervous system. It's safe. It's gentle. I have been someone who's craved my entire life situations that make me feel alive and free and crazy
Chaos.
and like chaotic. Like I
So maybe you're the
am-
problem.
No, for sure. For sure I'm the problem and I'm working through that. But I have always gravitated towards situations that bring out that part of me, the part of me
Yeah.
that is like impulsive and wild and just like really gritty. And I haven't really honored many places in my life aside from yoga that make me feel composed, soft, feminine, gentle. Like,
But don't you think that could make it feel like maybe it's not right for you when you're so used to seeking out
The lust,
situations?
the passion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So does that feel like you're not sure? Like at first did it feel so
well, at first I was like, no,
Yeah.
I can't do this right now because I was convinced that I wasn't ready. But even saying no was like a difficult decision because I
Yeah.
was like, but wait, there's so much of me that wants to say yes. And I think it just comes down to like trusting your guttural initial reactions to like how you feel about someone and what you think about someone. And I just feel really like he just really makes me feel seen, heard. He makes me feel like I am the best version of myself.
Yeah.
Which in previous relationships, I felt like I always had to convince the other person that I was worthy, or like show up in a way that's like, no, I am smart. No, I am creative. No, I am cool. I am playful. Like, look.
Yeah.
Can't you see it? Because I see it in myself. So why don't you see it? And I felt like I had to win someone over. And with him, he actually makes me feel like I am like a peak version of myself just by being who I am. He sees that in me.
What do you think about the narrative then of like moving on too fast?
Oh, geez.
Because I think that's a real thing that people worry about. Like, I think that they go less into their intuition and more into their logic of, well, am I moving on too fast?
Yeah. I had a feeling when I was first talking to him and when like the doors had first opened for us to develop some level of relationship, I said to him, I can't do this. Like, I need to work on myself. I need time alone. I need to heal. I need to process. Like, I was still deeply grieving a past relationship, and he was really accepting of that. And which was also such a green flag, is that he was allowing me space and time to heal.
Yes.
And respecting any version of how I wanted to show up to him, even if it was just as friendship, or even if it was just as like,
He was playing a long game.
yeah. Man's is calculated.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. But like silently, like G's move in silence like lasagna, like very, very subtle with it.
He is so subtle. He's just, I can't wait for him to be introduced to the world.
Yeah. Yeah, same. I was thinking about that actually, like a hard launch, if that was going to happen.
Yeah, my engagement. No, joking, but not. I don't really think that there's ever, right? There's no rule book to life in terms of how to do things, when to do things, and in what order to do things. And I think that if you are feeling like this is an option for you to pursue a relationship that is beyond just the ulterior motive of healing from your previous relationship, then there's no reason why you shouldn't pursue something like that. Like,
right.
I think there's a really beautiful combination of healing from my previous relationship and growing into and falling back into love and being in this like very opening, communicative, honest relationship with someone else that's also building. So
that's what I was going to say. I think the key thing is the honesty factor and how you went into it, being completely honest with where you were with him, because I think the only reason it might get like sticky or looked at as like a bad thing is if you are not telling the other person, hey, I just went through something, and like, you need to be gentle with me, and I might hurt you.
Sure. Or if you really like, I really had to discern at the beginning, do I just like the validation and the attention of someone liking me? Because that's what I think a rebound is the idea of feeling healed or feeling distracted or feeling like you can get away from the
avoiding the healing from
avoiding the healing from your previous relationship because someone else is giving you attention that you want. And at first I had to be like, okay, I really wanted to ask myself that question because I know that he's worthy of someone who isn't just utilizing him as a rebound. And so I had to be like, okay, do I just like the fact that he's into me, or do I really like him? And quite quickly I was like, no, I'm obsessed with him for who he is and how he shows up and what he contributes, and, you know, all of these amazing qualities about how he goes through his life. But I think that's a good question to ask yourself, is like, what are my motives with this, and what am I don't necessarily know if it's a question of like, what am I looking to get out of this? But yeah, the honesty, the making sure that you're not just utilizing someone else's love for you as a means to heal from someone else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's ever like too soon of a time.
I love that. And I think that you still need to do an episode solo on all things.
I know.
Like breaking up and re-entering into the dating space and re-entering into a new relationship. I think it's important.
Yeah, it is just so fun to like fall in love again.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
I bet.
It's so fun to discover someone new.
I'm like, I bet.
Yeah, I bet. How do I get that back? No, it's so good.
You know what's interesting though? What we call the different stages of dating.
Oh, like honeymoon.
No, like we're talking to someone.
Oh, yeah. How people label things.
Yeah, because I will never forget my dad. Because it was different for them when they were growing up. It was like, will you go with me? Will you go steady? Will you go steady with me?
That's just like hanging out. That's what we would call nowadays. It's like, oh yeah, we're hanging out.
Oh, I would call it talking. We're talking.
Not hanging out comes before talking. Nah, we're just
Really?
hanging out. Yeah. Oh,
I
no,
thought will you go
we're
steady with
talking.
me means like, will you be mine?
Will you go steady with me?
Yeah, will you
Hasn't
go
been
with
said
me?
since the 80s.
Well, my dad always used to make fun of Lucas and I when we were 16 because I would always say we're talking. And he's like, oh, well, what are you going to do next? Walk? Are you guys walking now?
Yeah. We're talking. I think it goes hanging out, talking,
Walking,
walking, dating,
running,
right?
leaping,
What comes after talking?
diving head first.
Swan diving first. What comes after talking?
Dating.
Dating.
Yeah. Like, will you, like, exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we get to beverage of the week?
Yes.
Okay.
One for you.
Oh. And one for me.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen. So, the premise of this episode, as you probably could see by the title, is that last week we focused on language, writing, verbal expression. This week we've got a little fun caveat about numbers for you. And
Classes in session. We're
what's-
really hitting it all. English and math.
all the subjects. What's funny is that I was never a numbers person. Hated numbers growing up, could not understand them as a language, was advanced in every single class except math. I just really could not get behind numbers.
Yeah.
And as I've gotten older, I think for a while I had a really big blockage around math because I just always told myself I'm not good at it. I don't like it. And so, for a while I didn't know what a quarter of an inch was. I couldn't do division or multiplication. I could basically count to 10 on my fingers. That's about it. And calculate a 20% tip only because I know how to move the decimal point over.
Oh, see, I just doubled the first number.
Yeah, and move the decimal point over.
I don't even factor in a decimal.
Anyways, Pythagoras was not a close friend of mine.
Put that.
The Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. It's the hypotenuse of a
Pythagorean
triangle.
theorem.
You'd never learned about that?
I did, but I can't say it.
Well, it's actually, people think that it's useless fucking information, and it is, but it's representative of the fact that numbers are a universal language. And basically the idea that everything in the universe has a pattern. Everything in life has a pattern that can be measured. We have assigned numbers as symbols, as a language to describe universal truths. So, one of the most sacred numbers is a 7. And my life path number is a 7. We're going to go over life path. We're going to go over year path. We're going to go over my interpretation of numerology. This is not inclusive of all different ways that you could understand
This is not a universal
numerology.
truth.
This is my truth, bitch. So this smoothie,
Ingredient.
this smoothie has 7 ingredients.
Nice. That was good.
Banana, blue spirulina, coconut milk,
How did you know I was craving a smoothie?
strawberry. There's no strawberry in here. I'm only at 3 and somehow there's 7.
Blueberry?
Blueberry.
There's got to be a protein powder in here. So we're at 5.
Yeah, I could look it up, but just know that there's 7
I
ingredients.
trust you.
7 in numerology, my numerology, and a universal truth numerology is the number of introspection, curiosity. It's the seeker. It's very connected to divine, your crown chakra, your third eye chakra. 7 is all about asking the questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What's going on? You are constantly absorbing information from life around you, and you have innate questions about the bigger picture. What are we doing here? Sevens are really interested in learning. So, like I said, absorbing information, reading, writing. It has to do with a lot of creative arts in terms of expression, but sevens are also very intuitive. So, clairvoyant in terms of being able to connect with higher powers, the divine, whatever you call God, source, you know, something larger
That
than
thing up
yourself,
there.
that thing up there. And feeling really powerful when they are in touch with their intuition. So my life path number is a 7.
Is that your favorite number too?
It used to be growing up. I think we're taught that like 7 is a good favorite number to have.
Really? It was my favorite number growing up because there was this boy who was the number 8 in a sport. And my parents always wanted me to marry him. Like our parents and his parents, like always wanted me to us
So
to
you
get
called
married.
him in
So
via his number?
no, so he was an 8, and I did not want to like just have his number be my favorite number. So I was like, I guess I'll be 7. Like that's my favorite number. And then
How diplomatic of you.
growing up, I was a number 7 in volleyball. That was my volleyball number. So that was why it was my favorite number. And Lucas always used to be like, "Go 7!" In my games.
Like whoever had the number 7 was like a cool kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
7 was just it.
It's a lucky number. I
Okay, wait. We have to go back for a second. Why is Thursday a 7? That really threw me for a loop.
It's a 7 or an 8 for me.
It gives 8 more for me.
Yeah, I could see 8 kind of like nearing the end of the week.
Yeah.
Like 8. I don't know. Something about it makes sense when you think about. Yeah, I take it back. Thursday's an 8.
Yeah.
Thursday's an 8 because if you think about Thursday, if you think about, you know, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it kind of makes sense that it's like 7, 8, 9, 10.
9.
And then 10 is like the end.
9 gives like completion of the week Friday. You know? Yeah. Okay, so life path.
Okay. So let's take it back.
Why is life path numbers important? Like, why the fuck?
You're swearing so much on this episode.
I am?
Yeah. Lots of fucks. Fuck.
I'll be more mindful of it.
You can be whoever you want to be here. It's a safe
thanks.
space when you're on my therapy couch. So, numerology. Returning to the concept of why it matters. It's similar. It's akin to the idea of astrology, where you read someone's time, date they were born, number of letters in their name. There's all different ways to do it, but it's a blueprint for you and how to optimize and understand your life, understand your life's purpose, understand how to process through life in a way that's most productive for you, and why you intuitively, inherently feel specific things. So the way that I'm going to break it down today is between your life path number and your year path number. So your life path number is connected to the date that you were born, and it is connected to your life's purpose, things that you feel really drawn to, naturally good at, maybe roles that you really easily fall into. It's a way to tell you about yourself in your very natural intuitive state. Your year path number has to do with the calendar year.
And that changes.
And it does change. It changes every year. It doesn't have to do with...
Yes, Amanda.
Yes.
Changes every single year.
Good. Gold star. It changes every single year based on the calendar year, the Gregorian calendar year. So this one, take it with a grain of salt, because the calendar is also a social construct that we've come up with that is different all over the globe and that is different. Yeah. The sounds.
This airplane sounds eerily close to your house.
Always. The sounds here. Anyways, your year path number. So like we will calculate Amanda's number for 2025. She'll have a new number in 2026, a new number in 2027. And that's another good way to see how it aligns with your life path and see which years are good for extroversion versus introversion versus projects versus self-reflection versus like optimizing career versus focusing on family.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and it gives you some nods to how to move through that year, what decisions to make. So I expressed that my life path was a 7. Amanda's life path is a 2.
What does that mean? I thought it was an 11.
Well, it is an 11, but then you take 1, 1 and you put them together. We're not going to get into master numbers today. Master numbers are like 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3.
What's a master number? We need to break that down.
Double numbers.
Because what if people are listening are calculating theirs and their double number?
Well, you just add your double numbers together.
Okay.
So 1, 1, you boop, put it together, you're a 2.
How
If
many
you have
numbers
like a
does it go up
4,
to?
9. So we, in
do I have a
numerology, we calculate like 1 through 9 are all the different archetypes for your life path. Once you get to 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 random numbers.
Oh, it can go up to that?
Well, yes, but you can always simplify it.
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
always break it down to a single digit.
Got it.
Always.
Got it.
So your single digit is your life path number. So if you calculate a 34 after you add up your birthday,
I see.
you're a 7.
I see. Got it.
So the way to do it is you add your birth number. So Amanda is January 28th, 1998. I would do 1 plus 2 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8. Instead of
You
doing
didn't
like,
sing, by the way.
oh, memories all alone in the moonlight.
You know what?
I don't know.
She gives 7 to me. Miranda Cosgrove in that movie.
Dude,
Give
no,
7.
She doesn't give 7. She gives 8. And we're gonna go over why.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
1 through 9 all has an archetype, and we're gonna go through them. Amanda calculates as a 2 for her life path number, but not only does she calculate as a 2 for her life path number, she calculates as a 2 for her year path number.
I didn't even realize that.
So this is huge because when you have alignment in your life path and your year path, you are in a year that is really potent, really powerful, really aligned for you. It's a great year to make decisions. It's a year where you're just going to feel really in your purpose. You're going to feel really connected to self. You're going to feel pretty grounded and stabilized because you are in your year living out really closely to what your life's purpose is. So for a 2 is very like peridot coded. If you know anything about peridot is the stone of joy and harmony. 2 is technically you're called the diplomat, but it's very harmonious. It's very balanced. It's very equilibrium, but it also has this air of sensitivity and softness and connection and collaboration.
I feel that.
So 2s, you might find yourself as someone who's really a liaison for a lot of people in life, balancing scenarios, bringing people together, bridging gaps that you find in relationships or in...
That makes so much sense. Even just yesterday, my aunt went to this podcaster's comedy show, like this big podcaster's comedy show. And she's best friends with this girl that I know really well. And she's like, oh my God, I went up to this girl because you were on her podcast. And I said, oh my God, my niece is Amanda Fowler. And she's like, oh my God, I know her. And they sent me a selfie today. Like the connecting. Yes. That feels so resonant to me. I feel like I do that very like easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're a 2.
That's so interesting.
Another thing about 2s is that you are similar to a 6, which we're going to get to, but you're very nurturing. You're very nurturing in a way that is composed.
Yes.
So there's a lot of composure. There's a lot of altruism. There's a lot of diplomacy. Don't know.
Yeah. It's
2s.
It's not like it doesn't feel like the mainstream version of like what nurturing would look like. It's like almost like a different type of nurturing is how I feel.
Yeah, it's diplomatic.
Yeah.
It's very like, I see this side, I see this side.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe you struggle with indecision because you have clear perspectives on many different outcomes.
Yes.
Very Libra, balancing the scales, like having this wide lens of perspectives that helps you stay grounded. Yeah, it's really like 2 feet on the ground. There's a lot of confidence that comes in twos because you're just like, okay, this is how it is. This is what we're doing. This is where we're going to go. This is what we're like, in a very composed sense. It takes a lot to kind of throw you out of equilibrium.
Yeah, I feel that.
So in a year too, a big thing for you is it's more of an internal year, I would say, because it's really focusing on leaning into your sensitivity, leaning into your softness, your gentleness, but not only those things alone, those things in collaboration with other people. So you have maybe pushed yourself out of your two a little bit because you tend to live in like an 8 lens, which 8 is the powerhouse.
Yeah.
Getting shit done. If
Yeah,
we know
I do.
Amanda, we know she's execute. We know she's powerhouse energy.
Yeah.
And leader energy. This is really encouraging you to be in your softness, to be in.
Is it like a feminine number? It feels very feminine.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
And to just kind of like step back from action a little bit and be more in yourself. Be more. Go.
Yes, because last night I was having a thought. Jessa's mom mentioned something really potent and cool for a topic idea, which is like the difference between being driven and being magnetic. And I was really mulling that over last night while I was reading, because I have been so go, go, go. And again, like I'm balancing a lot in my life with the kids, with being a wife, with the podcast. And so I tend to use my night times when the kids are asleep to do all of my miscellaneous work, whether it's scheduling chiropractic appointments or looking into nature schools or editing the podcast or thinking of podcast things or doing like, you know, so I use that time to work instead of rest, to take action instead of allowing myself to go into myself. And I almost feel sometimes like my body is so unused to being that like my nervous system doesn't know how to regulate itself.
Well, that's the thing. If you're always doing, if you're always going, if you're always living outside of your two energy, then you're not going to realize places in your life that need balance, that need harmony, that need equilibrium.
Yes.
You need to slow down to understand where to create harmony in your life.
Well, and it's interesting too, because I think that there's almost this energy of I am so addicted to doing that, like my nervous system feels comfortable there. And so when I'm not doing that, I'm just like, whoa, this is really uncomfortable. But I was thinking about it because I was reading. I was trying to like, okay, I'm not going to work. I'm going to go in the bath and I'm going to read a book. And I was reading and I was thinking about that. I was like, oh, this would be a really cool real idea. Or, oh, this would be a really cool series to start on my Instagram. Just like having all these action-oriented ideas. And I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know your priorities: motherhood, being a wife, and podcast. Those are your priorities. How are you going to pour yourself into those and balance them?
Yes.
While also having all of these action-oriented thoughts, but not acting on them.
Yeah, and allowing other people to also step up and be the actioner.
Yes.
And a really big key theme for twos are your relationships. Your collaboration is so important to you. It's the basis of your life, is to be in collaboration, to be in partnership, to be in teamwork with other people.
That makes a lot of sense.
Your challenge is that you are such a doer that you sometimes it's easier to be like, fine, I'll just do it myself. I'll just get shit done myself.
Yeah, I do that.
And so it's really a reminder to lean into softening in your partnerships, to share responsibilities, to nurture those, to collaborate in those, which all of the things that you just listed. What?
I'm just laughing. Jessa the other week, we were both on the Instagram. And I was about to reply to an Instagram DM, and she texts me. She goes, "Bitch, let me reply to a fucking DM for once."
Yeah, she just like, if you've ever DM'd our Instagram, you've probably gotten a message back that says like --mans XX, and I'm like, didn't even get a second to get a little tweet in, a little boop boop. Thanks for coming by --Jessa. So if you see something from Amanda, just know that like, I couldn't get there first.
So that's where I need to soften.
Yeah, be in collaboration, bitch.
Yes. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm learning. It's clicking. It's clicking.
So the diplomat.
Yeah.
The collaborative, sensitive, soft diplomat.
Yeah.
We're going to go back to ones. And we're going to go quickly through 1 through 9. If you want to calculate your number, pause. Now is a good time. Calculate your number. Find out what your life path is so that when I'm going through these, you can resonate. Number 1 is the leader. Very resonant of taking charge, stepping forward, action oriented. But like another big thing of ones is their connection to divinity and their playfulness. It's almost like the color white, very pure, very childlike, very not naive in a bad way, but just like ignorance is bliss. Let me flow through life. Let me get this opportunity.
Like new and fresh.
New and fresh. 1 is a number of new beginnings. And the reason that ones are able to capitalize on their new beginnings is because they are action oriented. They're leaders. They step up in the space. They make their voice heard. But ones, whether your life path 1 or your year number is a 1, is a reminder to be playful, is to have fun, not take things too seriously, be pure, be you, be free.
This is the extroversion.
Yeah, I would say 1 is a very extroverted number.
What's so interesting is last year was a 1 for me, right?
Yeah.
And that's when we started the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Last year was a 7 for me. I was in my divinely aligned year, which was, woo, it was a lot. It was a lot. But here we are. Ones, we love you, ones. You are here to make the world a better place by just being who you are. You are the fun friend. You're the friend that probably spends money. You're the friend that is cracking jokes and is finding cool things to do in town and is making plans. And you're the friend that people naturally gravitate towards. You have important things to say and people will listen to you. You walk into a room and you are magnetic. People listen to ones. Love you. We've been through 2s. 3s. I love 3s. 3s are the creative communicators. So 3s are like your typical, just like artist personality.
What's Taylor Hammond?
I don't know. I need to calculate
She gives
hers.
3.
She gives
just
3.
right off the bat.
People are often a beautiful combination of a lot of what these archetypes are. But again, it's just kind of like a cheat code to bring you back to your truest nature. If we think about the fact that everything is a vibration, everything is energy, then even these numbers that we assign to these universal truths have frequencies, have numbers. Think about, have you heard of the Fibonacci sequence?
No.
It's essentially that. It's a way to describe, as we keep saying, universal truths. It's this pattern where it's like, I don't exactly know the pattern, but it's like 1, 1, 2, 5, 2, 3, 5, 8, whatever. And it's describing this ratio of so many things that are naturally occurring in the world. So the spiral of shells, the patterns on leaves, like,
Whoa.
oh my gosh, it's
Snowflakes?
everywhere. I don't know about snowflakes, but I just know that like the more you measure things, this divine pattern is everywhere. It's predictable. It's measurable. It's assigning symbols and numbers to universal truths. It's right there in front of your eyes. It's the same way that the Egyptians built the pyramids.
Do you think that has to do with the mentalist? Is that why mentalists sometimes can predict numbers?
Maybe. That's interesting.
Another thing in Vegas quickly was that we saw Shin Lim, which it was so funny because Lucas and I were trying to find something to do on Thursday night. And Jessa came over right before we left. And Lucas is like, yeah, like I got us tickets to a magic show. It was like kind of cheap, whatever.
Is it Shin Lim?
She's like, is it Shin Lim? Lucas is like, yeah, actually.
Dude, Shin Lim was my muse in college. I watched him all through American Idol and
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent, whatever the fuck. And I ended up winning a large sum of money because I placed bets that he was going to be the winner. I saw his talent from the fucking jump.
So this is full circle. You gambled on Shin Lim and we went to Vegas to go see Shin Lim.
And you won money. And now I'm here talking about numbers. It's fucking crazy.
But there was a mentalist there that like had somebody in the crowd say a number and then a completely different other person say a number. And then we all added up this number and it came to this huge number. And he was like, well, I already wrote that number down, and like pulled the paper back and it was the same number we had calculated. And then he flipped that page over and it spelled fucking Shin Lim.
Yeah, he's an icon and a legend.
So maybe he used the...
He's playing with Fibonacci.
Yes, maybe he used the Fibonacci.
All of that to be said is, again, trying to kind of get behind skeptics who are like, I don't understand why this matters. I don't understand how this works. I don't understand. I kind of don't understand either, to be honest. But it's interesting that mathematics is so divine, and sacred geometry, and this idea of these like measurable repeated patterns that we use to design the world, that we use to create a zodiac calendar, that we use to create temples and pyramids and angles of sun in the sky. And they all come back to being able to be measured in the naturally occurring world.
Yeah.
Leaves, shells, black holes, wormholes. I mean, like all of these things, people just time and time again come back to the same numbers that describe them.
I'm curious how we got to the idea that like a 7 is a 7 though. Like put language to it.
Yeah.
Like was that channeled
it.
information, or was that very much just like people being like, that should be a 7?
This was literally Pythagoras, I think. He was the one who was
Pythagoras?
Yes, an ancient
Pythagorean,
Greek.
I thought it was.
It's the Pythagorean theorem. His
But
name
his name was Pythagoras.
Yes, he's an ancient Greek philosopher.
My third son will be named Pythagoras.
Yes, exactly. He's an ancient Greek philosopher that played a lot with the divinity of numbers and kind of created geometry and created
Wow.
theorems around.
He was an icon.
He was a fucking icon. I didn't think so in high school. I hated Pythagoras, but
Maybe they should play this episode to every single geometry student when they're in 9th grade.
don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Definitely not. Rise over run.
What?
Remember that? Rise over run to calculate slope?
No.
Anyways, number 3.
Was at lunch during geometry.
Yeah,
I would go to Jersey Mike's subs.
that's nice. You got to leave school. I wasn't allowed.
I did whatever the fuck I
And
wanted
then
there.
I was the only thing that was in a 3-mile radius of the school was a fucking Tim Hortons. Yeah, bro. If you don't know what a Tim Hortons is, you are not from the Northeast.
Dude, Tim Hortons, that needs to be studied.
Yeah. I wonder if they're still in business. Probably, honestly.
Yeah, they are.
People fuck with Tim Hortons. There's the same way that like Bostonians fuck with Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Like Canadians and upstate New Yorkers fuck with Tim Hortons. Anyways, if you're a 3, I love you. You're creative, you're abstract, you're flowy. You use all of these very artistic, hands-on, tangible, creative elements in order to voice your life story, your opinions, your thoughts. You're usually quite articulate, but your goal in life is to be a communicator, is to be a collaborative, creative communicator with other people, to bring your visions, your ideas up here to life through your voice. 3 life path 3s kind of fall into that category. If you're in a year path 3, that's a really great time for you to physically create something, start a new project, work with your hands, paint, like just like literally create, craft, build, make, and then talk about it.
Bob the Builder type shit.
Bob the Builder on some shit. 3s are really fun. 3s remind me of the color yellow. Like 3s remind me of just that like.
They remind me of green for some reason.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, to each their own.
Yeah.
But just like very like sun, positivity.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
glass half full. We can make something from this. We can make something from this. Like very
Optimistic.
Yeah. And very savvy. Like
Scrappy.
Scrappy, savvy. Just yeah, like your brain functions almost the opposite of logic.
Yeah.
In flow. 4s. 4s are very disciplined. You remind me, what's funny is that 4s and 2s are like cousin numbers.
Lucas is a 4.
Okay. It makes sense from what I know of him, but 4s are very disciplined. They're very structured. They're very like apt to build.
This is not Lucas.
No?
Man can't build anything for shit.
No, I don't mean
And
like
he's not disciplined or structured. Doesn't know what a routine is.
sometimes your life path is what you struggle the most with. It
Ah.
doesn't necessarily mean what you inherently already are. It means something that will make you feel aligned when you act in accordance with.
Very
So-
interesting.
4s are not necessarily like the 3, the actual tangible builders, the creators. 4s are very much like they're future oriented.
Okay, that makes sense for him then. he can build and he can build like a dream reality in his head.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense then.
Build visions, build
Yes.
ideas, build on someone else's conversation. Like they're just like, they're someone who contributes a lot.
Feels
They
like a
don't
very
just-
like corporate employee energy.
They definitely know how to work on Excel docs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not my thing. It's someone who really, is into organization, structure, disciplines. It's a little bit more type A personality versus 3 was a type B.
Got it.
Sometimes they struggle with the delegation, allowing other people to do things and share and help because they are like, I want to do it. I'm going to do it my way. I'm just going to do it the right way. They can struggle with putting themselves outside of the box in terms of trying new things or traveling or, just like being a little bit more fluid because they like what they like. They're sure of it. And while that's a strength, it's very logical. It's very tested and proven. They need to expand a little bit outside of what they know makes them comfortable. We love 4s. 4s bring a lot to our culture, our society in terms of getting shit done and in terms of being organized and disciplined to create structure.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, I can see that energy.
5s. If you're a 5, I'm obsessed with you and I love you. 5s are like the free spirit, the nomad. I feel like in another life I would be a 5, but 5s are the adventurer, the traveler, the breaking out of boxes, out of molds. Being like a big word for 5s is freedom. Finding freedom, whether that means to physically see the world and travel and explore and be in nature and be out and about and see how things function and work in other ways outside of your own box. It also means breaking free from molds that other people put you in, breaking out of identities, breaking out of roles, breaking into the sense of like, I am whoever I want to be at any given moment. I will not be confined to this identity. Unlike a 4, which really thrives on being put in, this is who I am and this is what I do. They like that. They feel good being identified. 5s are like, leave me lost, not
Free
found.
spirit.
Yep. Free spirit. Free spirit.
You know when you drink something cold and it like makes your mouth frozen?
It's not that cold.
Well, mine's like frozen because I'm also drinking the iced coffee. Yeah, free spirited. It actually feels very, I don't know why to me that feels very almost like fiery and like a little rebellious, like stubborn almost, but in a way because they want to protect their free spirited nature.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely got a lot of rebellion to it. If you're a life path 5, you might resonate with that. If you are a year 5, it is your time. Go plan a trip, quit the job, leave the relationship, like make big decisions that will bust you out of something that feels like you've been trapped here. 5 is a catalytic year to make massive change in your life.
Did you say what what year number 4 was?
What?
You said what a life path 4 was, but did you say year number 4?
Oh, year number 4 is just like good to implement structure into your life.
Got it.
If you feel like you've come from, so again, you move through years 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like last year for you was a 3, which means you maybe felt like a little bit like a chicken with your head cut off, running around, project here, opportunity here, connection here, this here. 4 is a really good year to like get your shit in line, to build for the future, to be financially adept, to, like take steps that are not necessarily the fun steps to take in life like a 5, but the really necessary ones to create stability in your life. So unfortunately in year 4, you have to make a budget.
Okay, 6.
6, we love you, 6. 6 is the nurturer, the lover, the empath, the giver, the sensitive one. It's very connected to Cancer energy, your home, soft, giving, and a lot of people interpret that as like, oh my God, motherhood. Like, I'm not ready to be a mother. Like when you say nurturing and you say motherhood, family oriented, people immediately think the literal translation of that is, oh my God, is this a year I'm going to get pregnant? No, it's just a year to nurture your relationships, nurture yourself, nurture your home. Maybe you start to put down roots somewhere outside of the physical home that you live in, your body, your home, this home. Take care of yourself. It's a very self-care year. It's a very come into your physical form, love your body, notice the sensations of it, what it does for you, how it interacts with the world. 6 is a really soft year. It's a giving year. It's a give to yourself, but it's a give to others. If you have severed familial ties or severed relationship ties with friends, it's a year to heal those, and not necessarily to heal those by going back and like saying, hey, I love you, I'm sorry for everything and what happened between us, but just to like let go of resentment. It's a lot of letting go. It's a lot of releasing and just like softening energy. 7s, we talked about. I'm a 7. Introspective, curious, question asker, wisdom oriented, wise sage, like very, very intuitive, gritty, heady. 7s can like a year 7 can feel really heady. It can feel like a lot because there's a lot of healing in a year 7. Just like a life path 7, your life constantly feels like I'm on this fucking journey and everything is healing and everything is this and everything is that. But it's actually much lighter if you just like allow it to be what it is. 7 is a year where you unlearn a lot of patterns, you release a lot of resentment, you ask yourself a lot of questions that you've never asked before, which can feel hard to answer. It can feel dark, it can feel deep. But when you move into a year 8, or if you are a life path 8, you are the fucking powerhouse. You are health, you are power, you are abundance, you are drive.
Health, wealth.
Health is wealth. 8s are fucking awesome. 8s are unstoppable. They are just like, see me as I am, world. Here I come. Let me speak in front of a crowd. Let me, create this program. Let me lead this relationship. Let me wear the pants.
That feels like Emma.
I wonder what she is.
I feel like she said she's maybe an 8.
You're going to have people that you resonate with these descriptions as in your life, and it will be interesting to calculate and just see how it all comes together. But 8s are execute, drive, abundance. They're naturally very lucky people. They just kind of like things just fall into their lap. Opportunity here, opportunity there. And 8 is a very like, just abundant person. They're just someone who just like, it may feel unfair that they get things handed to them, but they actually create those opportunities for themselves because they live in a lens of my life is abundant and I am capable. 8 year, which I'm in now, which I'm so fucking pumped about, is health, power, abundance, but it's also really big about karmic lessons. So think about that infinity symbol, the 8. You will not reap the benefits of all of what you learned in year 7 until you learn your karmic lessons in year 8, until you cut off people that you need to cut off, until you set boundaries, until you stop repeating the same patterns that are keeping you where you are. The only way that you can become healthful, powerful, and abundant is if you really analyze where in your life you have been put at a stopping point. I saw this video the other day that said, if someone were watching your life on a big screen.
Did you send this to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone were watching your life on a big screen and everyone in the audience was shouting at you to stop doing something,
what would they be shouting at you?
What would they be shouting at you about?
Yeah. So it's very like close the door energy to open up new doors.
100%.
The only way to open up the doors is to close the other ones.
100%.
Yeah. That feels so on brand for this year for you.
Oh, bro, I am so in my year of 8. And even, you know what? Like, again, a reminder that even if this is all fraudulent, if you think this is pseudoscience, if you don't, if this
fraudulent,
if this doesn't fucking land with you, at the very least, for me, like the placebo effect of just knowing this year I was moving into a year 8. Okay, that's fucking grind time. That's health. That's power. That's abundance. That's financial success. That's career. That's like learning my lessons to be able to be rewarded for that. And even that has changed the game for me. So
do you think that it also is correlated to like self-limiting beliefs?
What, number 8 or numerology
like,
in general?
Number 8, like learning to overcome your self-limiting beliefs.
Yeah. I would say 7 is more of self-limiting beliefs because you have to be able to kind of like identify what those are by asking the right questions
Right.
and by analyzing yourself first. But yeah, I think every number is kind of overcoming
Yeah.
self-limiting beliefs. Final number 9. 9 is very humanitarian. It's very giving. It's very service oriented. You may find yourselves in positions of giving, whether that just be in the household or whether that be in your career as a therapist, as a teacher, as someone who's, a nonprofit organizer, like someone who's giving to other people. It's service. It's also letting go. 9 is a big number of releasing. So if that's your life path number, a constant theme in your life is going to be letting go, not holding grudges, moving past, allowance, like this fluidity of things. They come and they go. They come and they go. Very meditative, where it's the clouds passing in the sky. You can notice them, you can identify them, but then they leave and you're on to the next. Like just really this like cyclical, fluid acceptance and release of energy. If you're in a year 9, that's your lesson, bitch. That's it right there. Let the fuck go. Let things come full circle. Let things come to a close so that when you get in your year 1, you can open, you can start fresh, you can have purity, playfulness, opportunity. Your year 9, see if you can be more selfless in terms of what you share with the world, but also release.
Do you think it's also knowing when to recognize when things are complete?
Yes.
I feel like, could they maybe be people who struggle with perfectionism of like, is this done? Like, is this piece of art done? Is this project done? Like, when do I just like throw in the towel and put my hands up?
Yeah, I think acceptance of perfection beyond your expectation, like acceptance, whether that's a project, whether that's like the closure of a relationship or of a job. There's a trick to a graceful exit, right?
Yes.
Is leaving something or finishing something or closing something out before you get to the point where you resent it because you're trying to end it a certain way. You're trying to finish it a certain way. So for example, to translate that to a real life example, when I left Boston, it was not a graceful exit. I overstayed my welcome in this city. I was like, fuck this place. I'm getting out of here. I don't like my relationships. I don't like what I do here. This city is not it. Like I just left with this like really angry feeling towards it. And now that taints the way that I look at it. It has this bias of negativity. And like, because I felt like I tried to make it work. I tried to fit a square peg in a round hole for too long that I ended up resenting it.
Yeah.
And when I leave Denver this time around, whenever that might be, I want to make sure that I'm leaving Denver with love
Not
for
too
the
soon.
space, with love for the space, because I haven't gotten to the point where I've like overcompensated or over pushed this relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so like,
totally.
yeah, the same way that you said a piece of art, like let it be.
Sometimes you just got to let go and let God.
Exactly. Let July be July. Let August be August. Do you know that poem?
No.
Holy shit.
Yes, I do know that poem.
Yeah, it's actually a really good poem.
Yeah, I do.
So all of that to be said, this was the very tip of the iceberg in terms of
You've been loving your
numerology.
iceberg
Dude,
metaphors.
it's such a great metaphor.
I love it. Keep rolling with it.
Very tip of the iceberg in terms of how I have learned and I interpret numerology. But if you dive more into it, I would love to hear about what you learn. I would love to hear about your angel numbers and other things that you find when you're going to research, like what is numerology and how does it work and why do numbers have frequency and energy. But
is this correlated to Enneagram?
I don't think necessarily it's correlated, but I think that it's a good example of like a language of symbols that tells you something about yourself, just like Myers-Briggs, just like human design, just like astrology, astrocartography. Like these are all tools for self-realization.
So what does our social security number say about us?
That we're all a barcode.
Why are we given those?
Isn't that weird? Did you know people in other countries don't have social security numbers?
What?
They have what?
What?
They have.
They're selling what? Chocolates?
They have like ways to identify them as functioning members in society, but they don't have social security numbers.
That is wild, and I did not know that.
Yeah, me either. And I mean, until I did.
You just told me. One other thing I think is so interesting about numbers, and lucky numbers are so interesting to me too, and what other people's lucky numbers are. Like Taylor Swift's is 13, when that's universally known as an unlucky number. Mm-hmm. But did you know that if you go to Rolex.com, every single Rolex on the website, when they're showing you pictures of it, where the date is, it says the 28th. It's the 28th.
Why?
Because 28 is the number of success and abundance.
Technically, it's not. It's a 1.
Yes, but
because
that's
it's
just
a
like
10
known as a number of, that Rolex has that on. If you look on the website, every single Rolex picture is 28. It is known as a number of power and success and abundance.
Fascinating.
Guess whose birthday is on the 28th?
Oh, I don't know, actually. Guess whose birthday is on July 19th? It's coming up. Mark your calendars. It's mine.
We both have a 1 birthday. Well, I guess if you just look at the number itself, 19 and 28. They both equal 10.
Look at that. She's catching on.
Math. The math is mathing.
The math is mathing. This came up because I went to a bachelorette trip and I read every single person's numerology, and they thought it was so fascinating and so interesting. And I did a stone pairing, so each of them could get a pocket stone and put it in their purse. And I was like giving them all this information on, you know, how their number aligns with their life. And so if this is of intrigue to you, do your own research and let me know what you find. I'm so curious, and take everything with a grain of salt, as we do here.
Yes. And thank you for informing us, because that was very, very fascinating and very empowering. I think it's, if anything, it's super inspiring, and it kind of gives you that like lay of the land and that extra like oomph to want to take control and like align yourself with those numbers.
Yeah. It's interesting because I didn't know anything about numerology before 6 months ago. But once I started using it in my job, I started leaning into, oh, wait, this is actually a really cool thing to learn about. Again, whether I believe it or not, which I do believe it. But I think that, why are you looking at me like that?
Because I was going to say, it's also a great selling tactic.
It is a great selling tactic for sure. It's a great selling point, but it's also a really cool call to action for you to, whether it's numerology or something else, find something that feels cool to you, that you resonate with, that you want to learn more about. Like, I just started Googling, I started like watching some YouTube videos on it. I started just like kind of making my own interpretation of it without really like having to learn too much about it. Just being
but
like, okay.
That's what makes it magnetic though, is like taking something and making it your own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did she say? What was Amanda Cosgrove singing?
Memories all alone in the moonlight.
Okay, we love you so much. We will see you next week for a discussion on, I don't know, come back next week.
You'll have to find out. Love you.
You'll have to find out.